Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo, this guy. It's good to see you all. Today I'm going to talk about the song Sunset from my album Age of Heroes. And I'll be right back after this intro. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the song Sunset, which I recently did a playthrough video on, kind of live in the studio. And I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I find interesting with that song. Now, normally this kind of video would be reserved for my Guitar Academy. You can find the link below. But seeing as I'm giving away free membership this March 2018, I thought I'd kind of do just one of these videos for YouTube as well. There are more videos on my songs over at the Academy, and there will be more as we go along. Anyway, the song Sunset. If you haven't heard it, there's a link here to the guitar playthrough version of it, the YouTube version. And yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, so the first thing, I'm not going to talk about every little technique I do. I'm not going to give you the licks. I'm more going to talk about what I find interesting with the song and why I play certain things the way I do and what I think about. Not that I really think about when I'm playing, but it kind of comes naturally, and then I think about it afterwards and kind of rationalize it. Other videos on other songs, I might give you actual licks and so on. But this song is a bit different, and in keeping with my time-honored tradition of not providing tab for this stuff, I won't provide tab for this either, because I don't think you need it to grasp what I think are the important points with this song. And that being said, there are tabs for some stuff on my Guitar Academy, and you can get backing tracks to the songs that I have on my Guitar Academy there. You can get a backing track to this below, so there's a link to a backing track as well. So the song starts out with a chord thing that's slightly odd, it's slightly odd. It has the chord C, and it's really weird. No, C is not weird, but the bass notes are, because the bass notes are F, so you have C with bass note F. Then you have C with B flat. Then you have C with A flat. And then the chord changes to A flat. And then you get the same thing repeated. Now, after that second time, it goes from the A flat to just a regular C. And that's when you get the melody, which is a very simple melody, and I encourage you to pick it out by ear, but here is anyway, real quick. And so on. And now, it's a very nice melody in my opinion, and it would be nice played kind of like if you just played every note with no phrasing, no vibrato, no bends. Even if you played it on a piano with no dynamics, it would still be a nice melody. So it would be something like, and so on. But I think what makes this song work, or doesn't make it work, is how you phrase it. And you can phrase it a million different ways, of course, but I like to use a bunch of slides, bends, vibrato, pre-bends, so I use the whammy bar a bit, and that might change from time to time, but it would be something, if I was to play it correctly, correctly, it would be something like this. So instantly it sounds totally different to just playing the notes straight with no dynamics. And that's really one of the things that's interesting about this song, that it's a very clear-cut example of phrasing, the importance of phrasing, vibrato, bends, slides, whammy bar technique, which isn't just doing that stuff, but using the whammy bar as a kind of phrasing tool, kind of like Jeff Beck. So sometimes I play the melody without a pick, sometimes I play it with a pick, and the later on, the more the song builds, the kind of more aggressively I play it. I use the volume pot and tone knob to change the sound a bit, which is something that's also very much Jeff Beck. Now, so I urge you to transcribe the melody and try to practice your phrasing with it. It's a great way to practice vibrato because the notes are long and it's easy to play along to, so you can really concentrate on the vibrato. And it's really a very good one to practice your bends with as well, because you can basically bend to every note if you want to do it that way. Bent sharp there. I got bent. So that's kind of the main melody, and then you get the B part melody, which is, let's see if I can remember it. And again, very much phrasing, you think about your bends and your vibrato and all that. So it's really very simple stuff. Then you play that, and then you play the A parts again, then you play the B parts again, and then it's time for a solo. And that's great stuff. Now, the chords under the solo are C, and then we have D minor with C in the bottom, and then we have B flat with C in the bottom, and then we have C, unless my memory fails me. So what we have is a Mixolydian thing. In case you don't know your Mixolydian, I have that on my website as well, but you can get that anywhere, and here it is real quick. C Mixolydian. But the thing is, I don't like to accentuate the 7, this one, the B flat, other than when the chord in the background is B flat with C as the bass note. Because it kind of, to my ear, sounds a bit odd in certain, for instance with D minor. It can work sometimes. So those are the chords, and that's kind of the tonality we're in. Now it starts off with, the solo starts off with this. Now I think on the album version that I actually did it like this. I'm not 100% sure that's the version that ended up on the album, but I know that was one of the ideas I had. And one of the ideas was, the technique was an idea that I wanted to incorporate somehow, because I find it to be a fun technique. So what you do is you do this, where you clamp the strings, you dampen the strings with your right hand, and then you do, because this is basically a very cheap kind of showpiece thingy. And so on. But what I wanted to do was do something that's a lot less flashy and a lot more musical. So I think I did it in the video version. I think I did something along those lines on the album version as well, where I just improvised by damping the strings with my right hand and doing stuff with my left hand. Something along those lines. That's the general kind of improvisational idea, and then you just improvise. The guitar I used on the album version and on the album version it was one with a sustainer, and on the video version it was an Ibanez Universe. So the pickups were hotter, and I had a sustainer on the album, which made for a bit more options. But it works fine on a Strat as well. Now, one of the things I'm doing is that I have a wah pedal. You can't see because it's on the floor, but I just don't do this kind of... I don't do just that. I find a sort of sweet spot with the wah, and keep it there and move it a bit to create a bit of motion in the sound itself, in the tone itself. So and that's basically it. You could do it without a wah and it would sound like this. But personally I prefer the wah because it gives it a bit more something. Well, like I said, makes the sound move a bit, or the tone rather, makes that move a bit. Other than that, there's a whole ton of that regular kind of Guitar Hero stuff that I do. There's some tapping in there. And there's some alternate picking. Some of that kind of stuff I don't remember exactly because I improvise my solos and they're never the same. Because I like to keep things fresh. For me, playing the same solo over and over, especially in a song like this, would be boring. Now, the solo section to this song is intentionally very long, and the background is intentionally quite static, because it builds up, you get more instruments, and your challenge as a guitar player is to keep the tension and build a kind of... so you don't just pull out everything right in bar number 1, and by bar number 6 you're kind of going like, well, what should I do now? But you have to actually build a solo, and It's really tough to do when you're improvising. So that's a good thing to think about as well. If you download the backing track and play over that, see what happens, because it can be a tough one. Yeah, and that's basically it. There's not a lot more to say. I don't want to go into the technical stuff because I've said that elsewhere many times, and I don't want to talk about technique all the time, because technique is fun, but in a context like this, it's not as fun, because it's more about the song. Now, yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like. And like I said, I have a YouTube version of this song that you can watch. You can download the backing track below. You can go check out my Guitar Academy, which is free during March 2018 by clicking the link below. And yeah, if you like this video, please like, please feel free to comment. Even if you didn't like it, feel free to let me know. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. Now, if you really liked it and if you want to support me, please support me on patreon.com. There's a link to that as well below. All of that money goes back to making more videos, making more music, and doing gear reviews and all that. So, that was everything for today. I hope you enjoyed it. How many times have I said that now? I hope you enjoyed it. There, that is one more time. See you in another video.